The stadium lights flickered once and died. Total darkness swallowed the pitch, leaving 80,000 people in a sudden, breathless hush. A single, piercing spotlight cut through the black, landing dead center on the pitch. There, resting on a solitary pedestal, the FIFA World Cup trophy caught the beam, glowing with an intense, metallic sheen. The silence lasted only a heartbeat. The ground beneath the center circle groaned. A mechanical grinding that vibrated through the grass. The earth split open. A massive, sleek platform began to rise, emerging from the dark cavity like a monolith. Madonna stood at the center, her posture rigid and alert. The first heavy chords of a rhythmic synth beat shattered the stillness, echoing against the stadium roof. She moved with sharp, calculated precision as the rhythm took hold. The crowd erupted, a wall of sound hitting the field as she commanded the stage. She pivoted, her movements driving the pulse of the music forward, turning the entire arena into a singular, focused point of energy. The performance had begun, and the stadium was hers. The final note of the opening performance hung in the air before the platform retracted into the earth. Silence returned for a split second. Then a metal bridge groaned as it descended from the stadium roof. Justin Bieber emerged, catching a floating microphone mid-air before jumping onto the pitch. He hit the ground running. The beat dropped instantly, a high-energy pop anthem that shook the grass. Hundreds of performers surged onto the field from the tunnel, moving in synchronized, rolling waves that mimicked the rhythm of the track. Bieber sprinted to the edge of the stage, his movements sharp and aggressive. He clapped his hands high above his head. The sound amplified across the arena. He signaled to the stands, pushing the tempo. The crowd responded. A rhythmic chant began, low at first, then swelling into a roar that matched the intensity of the music. Every person in the stadium moved in time with the beat. Bieber tracked the energy, spinning to face the upper tiers, drawing the noise higher and louder with every step. The stadium was no longer just a venue, but a singular, living machine of sound. The tempo surged, pulling the chant into a frenetic, breathless pace. Bieber hit a final, sustained note, and the stadium floor erupted. Along the rim of the arena, lines of pyrotechnics ignited simultaneously. Gold and red sparks showered the night sky, turning the air into a searing, luminous canopy. The heat rolled down into the stands, visible in the shimmering distortions above the pitch. Then came the change. The music shifted, the driving beat replaced by a sharp, staccato rhythm that seemed to demand more. Beneath the performers, the main stage began to groan. A deep, mechanical whine echoed through the speakers as the solid surface fractured. It split into 7 distinct sections, separating with violent, rhythmic jolts. The performers scrambled to find their footing as the ground rearranged itself. The center was gone, replaced by gaps and rising platforms. The crowd went silent, sensing the shift. The stadium waited. The ground had become a series of jagged, shifting islands, and the real chaos was only just beginning. From the dark gaps between the fractured platforms, 7 hydraulic lifts surged upward. BTS appeared, landing with precision on the raised sections. They launched into their set, movements sharp, explosive, and perfectly synchronized with the sudden influx of rhythm. The stadium roared, the sound vibrating through the very concrete of the stands. Then, the music transformed. The pop beat dissolved into a massive, orchestral fusion, swelling with brass and heavy percussion that commanded the space. From the wings, Madonna and Bieber sprinted back toward the main stage, converging with BTS at the center. The 7 platforms locked together with a final, heavy metallic thud. The entire stadium became a single, pulsating entity. Every performer moved as one, a storm of synchronized motion that pushed the rhythm to a frantic, thunderous pace. The energy was absolute, a physical pressure that surged from the field to the highest row of the arena. Hands reached toward the lights, feet hammered the stage in a unified beat, and the music climbed into a final, soaring crescendo. The stadium reached its breaking point, held together only by the sheer, relentless motion of the performance. The final chord shattered the air, a physical force that rattled the stadium's structure. At that exact second, the cannons fired. A dense, white blizzard of paper erupted from the stage floor, spiraling upward and outward with violent speed. The performers disappeared behind the wall of white, their movements swallowed by the falling flurry. The sound of the music cut out instantly, leaving a hollow, ringing silence that hung heavy over the field. The confetti continued to drift for several long, breathless seconds, blanketing the stage in a thick layer of white. Then, the stadium lights snapped back to full intensity, blindingly bright after the spectacle. The blizzard settled, revealing an empty stage. The platforms had retracted, and the gear was gone. Standing at the center line, two figures waited. They did not look at the stands. They did not acknowledge the roar of the crowd. They stared only at the ball placed on the center spot. The captains shifted their weight, eyes locked on the target, hands at their sides. The tension shifted from the stage to the pitch. The whistle blew, sharp and piercing, cutting through the final echoes of the show. The second half had begun.